what's the ideal way someone should approach an interview preparation for data analyst? Now that you have clearly identified that these are the types of interview rounds and these are the things which are required, uh, let's go into what's the ideal way someone should approach an interview preparation for data analyst. So, what is the timeline that you would suggest, or what is an approach, like do this first or do that, and what is the how would you break down if you had to guide to any of your mentees? Or
So, I mean, I had a good experience with Preplaced, so I'll take that as a reference, and then I will say, because I'm in talk with the people from your team regarding how you're improvising the tool and all those things. So basically, when I say to a mentee or a person who is basically changing a domain or move into data analytics role, so basically it will only take you 2 to 3 months basically, because for data analytics role you just need to focus on few technologies, basically the database related things. So one or two in database, one or two in scripting language, some of the visualization knowledge, and basically the cloud knowledge. Anyone, be it Azure cloud or Google cloud, or you can just do any kind of other cloud technology, but that is important because all those aspects you need to touch, because that will create your complete profile. You cannot just be a SQL guy or a cloud guy, because they don't want a Azure person, or they just don't want a SQL developer. They want a
Hmm.
data analyst who is able to handle everything with
Hmm.
with a certain experience. So that is basically the expectation. But if I'll suggest to all the people who are working for this kind of role, so first of all, whatever technology you're picking, do not just jump to those 10 days or 15 days courses who will say that you will prepare everything in these 15 days. That will
Hmm.
never happen. You have to just clear your basics, because there is a 45 minutes of interview. Okay, and
Hmm.
you have the interviewer. First of all, we want the people. That's why we are taking the interview. And most of the cases, if we are even selecting 10 people, only 3 people will join, because now the market is like, if they will get the offer, the people will go everywhere, they will shop around. So basically we also want to hire the people. So out of those 45 minutes, let's say I'll consider 15 questions. So you just have to answer 7 or 8 questions very correctly, or in a such a manner that the interviewer will think, okay, even though this person has not answered 6 or 7 questions, but still the approach is good. He is capable of doing things. In
Hmm.
my company, even when we were taking the interview for a full stack developer, I can tell you for 2 months we were not hiring anyone. That
Hmm.
person was technically good and he was able to answer the question, but in the manager and director round, that person was getting failed. So we asked our manager, sir, what is the problem? Like, why these people are not getting hired? So they were saying that the kind of approach they are providing in those kind of interviews, it's not good, and we don't want to mess up with the team with just one candidate. So
Hmm.
the expectations are very high in this kind of interview. So that's why, and they are only focusing on the basics. They are not expecting very high end answers. And you will say, okay, I did this certifications and lots of certifications are there, but you're not just explaining a basic thing in very clear manner. The
Hmm.
communication skill definitely is important, but even if you will bypass the communication skill, still the answers you are giving, those should be very clear. The interviewer
Hmm.
should understand like what is the approach. So that
Hmm.
is the part you have to always keep in point. And as Preplaced is doing a very good job, that there is a timely feedback you need to get. You
Hmm.
just not to spend 2 months and then you are just going for the interview, and then in the first interview itself you will find that, okay, I'm not doing well and I have to prepare that, I have to prepare that also. So that entire 2 months of preparation is lost, because
Hmm.
you are not going in a particular direction. So there
Hmm.
is someone, maybe not just any company I'm saying, any your mentor or your colleague or even your senior, just ask them like how to approach and take a timely feedback from them,
Hmm.
because those are the people they went through that particular path, because we know how to take the interview. So definitely if someone will ask me like what I need to prepare, then I will guide him, okay, first of all just do these things and come back to me, I'll ask you 3 or 4 questions, I'll
Hmm.
tell you where you are. So
Hmm.
those timely feedbacks are very important, and I'm glad that Preplace is also providing those kind of opportunities.
Great,
Yeah.
great. So, moving on to next question. So you mentioned that uh, in data analyst interviews, like someone who is aspiring to crack interviews at this experience range, right? It's generally mostly 2 to 3 months that you would need. That is what you mentioned, which is in a moderate range compared to other domains, where probably some domains need 7 8 months of rigorous
Exactly.
preparation or something. So if you had to again break this down, uh, this 2 3 months into,
Mhm.
let's say, certain resources or approach uh, that you follow this set of theory resources, and then you do interview
The
questions on
hands-on.
this.
Mhm.
Yeah, so uh, how would you break it down if you had to break down 2 months of preparation timeline for someone?
Okay, exactly. So when I say 2 to 3 months, so basically I'm expecting that person is somewhat into this data analytics, not purely in data analytics, but let's say he is working with large data, or he
Hmm.
is working with some people are they are somehow they are working with big
Someone
Excel
who
files.
has decent experience and now wants to
Exactly.
branch
Now
out
they
into.
want to move into. So basically, when you start applying for a certain job, first of all, list down the company. So that's what I always mention to the mentees who are like completely changing their domain or they are targeting. Because let's say if you are targeting a company like completely product based, Amazon or Google, so definitely those 2 or 3 months should be very focused on those companies because they are very specific to certain areas. If you are going into Amazon, then definitely you need to learn the cloud technologies related to Amazon Redshift, or all those things which are very, very particular for that company. So first of all, if you are like targeting a company, then the process will be different. But if you are just uh, changing a domain, then definitely targeting a company is good for those people who are already into data analytics. Because
Hmm.
it will be very difficult. Those 3 months won't help. Then they require 6 to 7 months of extensive preparation. But if the people who are like targeting a good amount of company, because like Deloitte, like KPMG, PwC, HPE, so they are continuously hiring people, and they're also they just want 1 or 2 developer for some particular teams, and they will provide good packages. So ultimately, the person is switching the job for package also and for getting good experience from this company. So if I'll say this not what 1 to 2, basically 2 to 3 months of preparation. So the first month basically should be take any course or take any particular series of videos on YouTube, or let's say you have Udemy, you have Coursera, or any particular source, and just complete those things.
Hmm.
Do not skip a single point, because you have to understand what are the topics covered in that particular technology. Let's say if you're and not even just doing the particular series of courses, take a certification. Let's say if
Hmm.
you want to move into data analytics, Microsoft Data Analytics certification is there. Just take the syllabus and jot down the points which are important for that particular certification.
Hmm.
Do not apply for the certification because maybe you are not confident, it is not important for you to switch the job, but at least you will know the syllabus, because
Hmm.
this certification from Google, from Microsoft, they are well documented. You will get
Hmm.
everything, all the details on those certifications, and that
Hmm.
will help you to just jot down the points which you need to cover. Just tick mark that, okay, I have covered the data connectivity, I have covered the data modeling, now I'm moving to data visualization. So
Hmm.
if anything will come into those 6 or 7 questions from that particular topic, at least you can answer 2 or 3 questions. So
Hmm.
that jotting down of the topic by topic that course description is very important, and you will definitely get from Google documents also, from Microsoft document also. They have jotted out the entire documents, so that
Hmm.
will help you to check the syllabus. Once you are done with that, then the theoretical part is done. Now,
Hmm.
if the question will come, you are able to answer. But the second most important part is hands-on.
Hmm.
Now, the second month or even mid of the second month till the third month, you have to do the hands on practice. Do not
Hmm.
even go for the interview, because if you will go for the interview, that will definitely decrease the kind of energy you have, because they will ask you some practical based question and you will get demotivated. You will come back and you will say, okay, why I'm doing this and I'm not doing better. But still, you are halfway through. You completed all the theoretical part. Now it's just that you have to do the hands on, because I'm telling you from my experience, because I'm also taking some of the technical sessions and training for people, and they will be very active in the online trading sessions. They will ask relevant doubts, and they will complete the entire syllabus, but they will not write the code, and they are not even doing the things which I'm telling them. So
Hmm.
once they start doing those things, then the challenges will come. Even a
Hmm.
small syntax error will give you the kind of a check that, okay, I was very confident that I know this particular syntax, but since I'm writing the code, I'm facing these issues. So
Hmm.
those hands-on experience will give you the confidence to sit in the interview and
Hmm.
do those things. Because at the time of interview, if they will ask you any question, they will share the screen. That time you will fumble,
Hmm.
because you have practiced those things. You have just learned those things. You have seen that, okay, there is a function called calculate, and this is the syntax. But you have not write a calculate function and create that particular formula by your own. So
Hmm.
hands-on practice is very important, and you have to create at least a small GitHub project, or at least a small visualization, a dashboard. Anything is fine, but do those hands-on things, and those will help you to answer in the interview with more confidence.
Hmm. I think, yeah, I think this is a great help and a detailed breakdown of how people should approach the resources that you mentioned, that Google, Microsoft already has a lot of documentation done, and then the hands-on part. I think the GitHub part and trying it on yourself is a quite a good thing. So, moving on, as a founder of a company, Preplaced, I get a question a lot of times as to there are tons and tons of resources and courses out there on data analyst. Why would I prepare with a mentor compared to a course? So because you are someone who has been a mentor for a long time and you are doing mentorship for lots of people, I would just ask you that same question. Like, what do you think? What important element does a mentor bring into specifically into interview preparation? How does a mentor help you in succeeding in that?
Sure. So it's a very good question, because most of the time you will find the courses, or as you said, that materials is everywhere. Okay, you just go to the Udemy, within 4 to 500, you will get all the courses. Not
Right.
just Udemy, you can go to any of the website and you will get the courses. On Google, people have put free courses.
Hmm.
So doing the course is fine. You will get to know, but the only problem is you will not get the feedback,
Hmm.
and the feedback you will get in the interview.
Hmm.
So in IT, it's like if you're going for, let's say, even Accenture. So after 6 months only you will again apply for Accenture, because once your profile will be there, then definitely you are not applying for that company again. Then it's like a loss of your just one interview. And
Hmm.
definitely nowadays there are lots of job openings on LinkedIn, but if you will see the rate of success rate of people applying to the job and getting an interview call is very less. So
Hmm.
you have very limited opportunity to sit into that interview and crack that interview. Okay.
Hmm.
And if you're just doing an experiment with the interview, then definitely you are getting the feedback, definitely, but that too from the actual interviewer.
Hmm.
So where the preplaced will play a key role, and what I saw in this particular 1 year is, basically we are helping the people to just go in that particular direction which is
Hmm.
required for that career change, and definitely get the timely feedback. Because
Hmm.
lots of people who are taking the session, I mean till now, the consulting sessions and mock interview, they are connected to me over LinkedIn. So
Hmm.
even their during their interview journey, they keep on asking me, just Chetan, I have an interview with this and this company, and this is the kind of job profile I have. So whatever we have discussed, should I include this in my resume? So resume preparation, again, it's a very important thing, because because that interviewer, the HR interview is the second step. The first one is the HR, and these
Hmm.
people are not technical people. They are just screening the resume for 1 minute, and they are saying, okay, this is the candidate who know this. And people don't know how to highlight the things in resume.
Hmm.
Lots of people who are taking the consulting session with us, they do not have a proper LinkedIn profile. So
Hmm.
these are the very important things which everyone is nowadays looking into. And people
Hmm.
are just thinking that, okay, I'll create that basic template of resume, I'll send it to the company, and I'll get a call, and somehow I'll manage to crack the interview. So
Hmm.
those assumptions people still have, and now they are again this kind of courses, like short-term courses, they are doing. So with those assumption and these short-term courses, it's not the proper approach. So
Hmm.
definitely you need a proper approach to crack those interviews, because if a company is paying you 20 lakhs or 25 lakhs, then definitely they want to see those kind of dedication. At least, let's say if you will create the technical round and if you are going to the managerial round, and the manager will definitely go and check your LinkedIn profile. So
Hmm.
people will be confident that okay, I cleared the technical round because I know every question, but my LinkedIn profile is not updated. I have to
Hmm.
at least add what I did. So those are the things, and that will create an impression on my manager. Because when I came to HP, that time I got to know that my manager actually checked my LinkedIn profile, and within one meeting, he mentioned to me that okay, you are Power App certified, you are Power Platform certified. Because I have never mentioned to him. So
Correct.
those are the things which will go into the backend. People don't know, like how
Hmm.
people are judging you. It's not
Hmm.
just the interview or the resume. There are lots of things which will go into the backend.
Hmm.
So you have to be mentally prepared, and your profile should tell the story. Your resume should highlight the skills which you have. Definitely, that will help you to get more number of interview calls.
Hmm.
So at that point of time, prepares will help. And the last but not the least thing is like helping them for the technical things,
Hmm.
because you will get all the courses on online videos and everything, but that is a limited scope. If a
Hmm.
person is taking a case study, he will only tell you the challenges or the kind of techniques to handle that particular case study, and at the end he will create a solution. He will say okay, this is how you work in this particular technology, but that
Hmm.
is a very limited scope. You are just
Hmm.
doing the training and that scope is very limited. But once you will move into the IT industry, there are lots of hundreds of case studies.
Hmm.
So you have to be very prepared for different kind of case studies. You cannot just simply rely on that particular course, because the question can come from any direction. So
Hmm.
those are the things which will help you, which the mentor will help you through Preplace or
Hmm.
by just continuous consulting sessions. So that's
Correct.
how these things are important for such roles.
That's quite a detailed and an interesting answer. Like one thing I really liked about that was that you mentioned the presence of feedback and assessment type of thing, right? Where you are giving constant feedback and validation to the person if that person is on the right path, and then pushing
Exactly.
them in the right direction. And the other thing is that there is so much huge vastness of things present there, right? Where you might get
Exactly.
lost. There's resumes, there's LinkedIn, there is also lots of technical aspects and also going into deep of that each concept. So there is a lot of things that people need to manage and handle,
Exactly.
getting that right strategy. That's where a mentor probably can help you exactly in the right way. So moving on, Chetan, you have been someone who has been taking interviews from quite some time. You have been doing a lot of mentorship as well. So I would like to ask you, like, what are the general common mistakes that you see in such experience range people uh, that are like short indicators that don't do this? What are those common mistakes that you think that okay, these are the things which people repeatedly keep doing and you see a pattern and you would want to highlight them?
The first thing which it's like it seems funny, but people are very overconfident. So
Okay.
the reason is, I'll tell you the reason. Because once you will do some kind of a course, or once you will acquire some kind of a knowledge, so you will gain some confidence, which is okay. But once you will approach the interview, that confidence will sometime you just need to limit it. Because
Hmm.
what will happen in the interview process, those people are like they are aware of the technologies, they are aware of the industry, and that's why they are sitting there to take the interview. But
Hmm.
most of the time, what people will think, if not this company, then I'll see another company. So that
Okay.
kind of attitude they will come up with. And the major challenge is like, if they are not answering, let's say if your interview is not going well, so most of the time people will think like, okay, let's move it, like it's not going good, and just break it down.
Hmm.
So that is the most challenging part, to handle that kind of candidate, because we want to hire that candidate. We saw that okay, this candidate is confident. Let's ask just few more questions, and then we can just provide the feedback. But
mm,
at that point of time only the candidate will say that okay, I do not know these things, or they will start answering one pointer or one liner answers, and somehow they will try to manage the interview and close it. That is
so
this is the first.
basically attitude is something
Exactly.
which is
Exactly. You have to be very very calm with the interviewer. Definitely, most of the people are, but I'm just talking about those 20 to 25% people who are like uh, coming with that kind of attitude, and those are the things which the interviewer will never like, because we are basically wanting to hire that particular candidate, but and this thing is very highlighted in this particular company when I came to HP. So even the candidate was technically good, even the candidate having a good profile, good experience range, but just because of the attitude, they are not getting hired. And there are
mm,
not just one or two cases. I saw 5 to 6 people who are like very good. And another point which I saw in Deloitte, when I was in Deloitte, I used to take not a direct interview, but I was part of the interview panel because our senior used to take those interview. That time, people were they were hiring some people for, let's say, a technical role, and what people will think that okay, Deloitte is a very big company, so I should prepare high level questions and I will give very detailed, very technical answer. But at
mm,
the same time, we saw they were not able to answer the basic question, and
mm,
these companies will start from very basic, so you will not even expect that they will ask this kind of questions.
mm,
So sometimes you will skip those things. So you will even sometimes people will forget the basic syntax or basic formulas, but they are aware of the high level concepts. So those are the misconception, I can say. People are assuming those things that okay, if these are big companies, then definitely they will ask higher level questions. That is not the case. You have to make your fundamentals very very strong, be
mm,
it any company, major product companies or service based companies. But your fundamentals should be very strong, because every interviewer will start from that level zero. Then
mm,
as per your whatever you are saying, based on that, they will gradually increase the level.
mm,
And it's just the kind of a positive attitude. Even though if you don't know the answer, do not say that I have not worked on it, or do not just directly. People will say very blank answers. They will say
mm,
okay, if I'm asking a person, let's say in data visualization, that have you used, apart from the basic visualization, have you tried any external visualization, any complex visualization? They will say no, my company does not support those external third party visualization, so I have never used it. So to
mm,
a person with 6 or 7 years of experience, those kind of answers are not expected. You can
mm,
say that okay, due to certain restrictions, I did not get the exposure to work on those visualization in the practical scenario, but definitely I did a study. I know what those visualizations are, how to use them, and what are the use of those visualizations. So
mm,
you have to just somehow convince the interviewer, because you are there to crack the interview, not just to attempt and take the experience. If because
mm,
that is kind of an, again, it is a kind of an attitude thing, like whether you are really interested for the company or not. And these are the big brands, they are very in such company, they are very much proud of their brand, because
mm,
the kind of people, the kind of environment we have, we always want the people who are very motivated to come there. It's not just a job switch. It's like you're being a part of a company who is from there, like HP, it is there from like last 90 years. So
mm,
the people in our company are there from last 25 years. So they will never compromise with that particular feeling that okay, I'm part of this particular company and this person is just taking an experience in the interview.
mm,
So definitely, whenever you are going for such kind of companies, bring that attitude in yourself that okay, you are really interested and you want to be a part of the company.
mm,
After cracking the interview, you can just go ahead, shop around, and those are other options you will definitely explore. Everyone will do that, but at
mm,
least for the sake of cracking the interview, definitely you have to convince the interviewer in such a way that even though you don't know anything, at least
mm,
convince him that yeah, you have tried or you will try.
mm,
Those things will definitely matter, because you, just technically good person is not, nowadays I can see it is not enough. You have to present yourself in a whole way. I can Your personality should come out in the interview. That is very
mm,
important.
mm. I see how you were focusing quite a lot on communication, attitude, and the way people approach interviews. I think for
Exactly.
such experience range where looking for senior data analyst roles and all, at that place soft skills really play a big role, though it plays a
Definitely.
big role in all interviews, but at senior roles it plays
Yes,
even a bigger role. My
definitely.
next question was going to be uh, some tips that you want to share, but I think you covered a lot of tips along with the mistakes and what things people need to take care. I think this is a lot of detailed pointers that people can make sure to keep in mind while preparing for interviews. Uh, any final things that you want to would ask your people watching this video or your mentees to make sure to keep in mind while they are preparing for their 2 3 month journey or something, anything that you would like to finally share with people?
Definitely. Thank you for asking me that. Because, I mean, we have covered lots of points. So I'll just give a kind of a summary. You can say, maybe I'll repeat some points which I already discussed. But the only thing I want to mention to the people, because nowadays, I'll just take one example. I know I'm killing the time, but the
No,
thing
no.
is,
Yeah,
uh,
go on.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just take one example. A person whom I consulted with Preplaced is like, he's from BHEL. So
Hmm.
BHEL used to be our dream company when I was doing my engineering in electronics and communication. It was my dream company that someday I will crack the gate. I was preparing for gate exam and I wanted to go into BHEL.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I couldn't do that. But yeah, that guy was working with BHEL from last 8 years, and he
Hmm.
wanted to move into data analytics. And when I started the consulting session with him, he told me that I just asked the very first question, that why you want to move from BHL? It's a Maharatna company to data analytics role.
Hmm.
The reason can be anything, but he was very frank with me, and he told me that he was doing a monotonous job from a long time, and
Hmm.
nowadays he's seeing that data analytics is a very good area where most of the people are moving, and he was stuck with some kind of a salary range, and he
Hmm.
want to explore, because definitely people have that mindset that in IT there is a lot of boom, because during the lockdown also most of the IT companies were working. There were no uh, firing in most of the companies. I can say there are firing definitely, but yeah, in IT it was a part that people are working from home and they were getting their salaries, not in kind of a other jobs where people have to go to office and they have to switch the job. Okay, so coming to that person, so when I asked him this type of question, so he was saying that, okay, I just wanted to do some kind of a quick course, and I want to move into data analytics. So I asked him what you will do with that 8 years of experience,
Hmm.
because now if that 8 years of experience you will go as a fresher data analyst in a
Hmm.
company, what kind of motivation you will have? So there are people who will be having 2 to 3 years of experience and they will work with you. And you are coming from a big company and then you are working just on Excel or maybe on SQL database. That is how the freshers will work in data analytics role for a normal service-based company I'm talking about, not the bigger brands. So my suggestion to all the people who are working for or who are aspiring for this data analytics role is like, whatever experience you have, be it 4 years or 5 years, just try to bridge a gap or try to connect the dots between that experience and your data analytics role. It's
Hmm.
not just you're completely coming from a different background and you're ignoring those 5 6 years and now you wanted to start afresh,
Hmm.
because that will not help you. You first of all, at least 1 year, take an experience in your current organization if it's possible, or just do some kind of an course, take participations in some challenges, because there are lots of challenges going on LinkedIn also. There
Hmm.
are some challenges where the company will put a problem statement and they will say, okay, just try to solve this thing. So once you are completing some course, technical courses and certifications, and then try to do those hands on, so at least you have something to show to an IT company that, okay, I have
Hmm.
did something. This is for the people who are coming from a different domain. But the people who are into IT, then they can definitely justify the things, because even if a person in Accenture, I'm just taking an example, like if he is working in testing and he
Hmm.
want to come to a data analytics role, so he can definitely say that, okay, I was working with a healthcare client and he know what kind of data he has, he know
Hmm.
what kind of data he was testing. It's just that you just need to connect the dot, create a story that, okay, I was working with this client, I got exposure to the database, and then I got some opportunities where I implemented these things. Maybe sometimes people will fake it, but if even if you are faking it, at least you should have some experience, you should have some confidence that okay, you are actually, the kind of a, I can say, the business what you are doing. If you're in healthcare industry, you are working for a client, then you should know what is the database, what are the kind of data you are handling, what are the challenges. So
Hmm.
those things you can just create a story, create your resume, and then present yourself in such a way that the person will understand, okay, this
Hmm.
5 or 6 years is actually relevant to this
Hmm.
particular role. Then only they will hire you. They will
Hmm.
not just hire you based on your last 1 or 2 years of experience, because that's a role which required you to be an individual contributor, as I told you.
Hmm.
So you just have to keep these points in mind, that if you're going for a senior developer role, then
Hmm.
definitely you have to justify those 6 or 7 years. So
Hmm.
your resume should speak about that, and your interview, I mean your experience. Whenever the first question will come that tell me about yourself, then definitely those 5 minutes will explain whatever you did. It's
Hmm.
not just you started with something and then you ended up being in data analytics job.
Hmm.
That will definitely create a very bad impression from the very beginning, and the interview will go in a wrong direction.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
I think this is an excellent tip specifically for people from fields around data analyst and coming into data analyst, like how
yes,
they can build a story around it and go into that and connect the dots between. That was a very relevant, good example, I would say. Yeah. So thanks, Chetan, for all the time. So for all the people who are watching this video, you can check out Chetan's profile with the link in the description. We will also be sharing all the pointers and insightful things that Chetan shared also in the description. You can check out the profile. You can specifically, if you want a personalized plan directly built by Chetan or lots of top mentors like him, you can directly have a one-on-one planning session with Chetan, and he'll be able to help you a lot in exactly pinpointing how you specifically should approach your interview preparation. So yeah, thanks Chetan for your
thank
time. It
you.
was an amazing and insightful session. I would say like this would help a lot of people who are aspiring to go into top companies and also like lots of service-based companies and into data analyst roles. Thanks a lot for
Definitely. Thank you, Sahil. Thank you for your time and providing this opportunity. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much.
yeah, great Chetan. Yeah,
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
a nice day. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Sahil. Yeah. We'll see you. Thank you so much, everyone.